Okay, everyone, hello. I'm sure it'll take a few minutes for people to hop onto the channel to watch this video, but I'm appreciative that you are here. And if you're not here right now, you can always watch these on the YouTube link that I'll have in my bio. So there's that. So as you gather for the practice, go ahead and find a comfortable seat. You can sit up onto a block like I'm doing, or you can sit on the floor with your ankles crossed. It's really just what's most comfortable for you. So feeling the shoulders stacking over the hips, allowing the spine to be nice and long, belly soft. And we'll just take some breaths together. So start by exhaling, empty out your lungs. Take a full deep breath in. And when you begin to approach full, hold the breath for a moment. And then exhale, emptying out the lungs. So pretty simple. Another inhale, feeling the lungs get full, feeling for space between the ribs. And then be full for a moment, no rush, just be full. And then exhale, empty out the lungs. Good, one more like that. Another deep breath in. When you get full, hold the breath for a moment. And then exhale, let it out. So now a little more specific. Keep your mouth closed. Inhale through the nose for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold your breath for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale through the nose. So keeping the mouth closed, halfway there for 4, 5, 6. Holding at the top for 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep the mouth closed. Exhale. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. So all the breath is through the nose. Halfway there for 5, 6. Holding the breath at the top for 4, 3, 2, 1. Mouth closed. Exhale. 6, 5. Keep the chest up. 3. Navel draws in. 1. Inhale. Hold your breath at the top. This gathered energy, this gathered attention. Keeping the mouth closed. Exhale. Chest stays lifted, belly draws in. 2 more. In. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last one. In. Hold at the top. Exhale. Good, and then just letting the breath resume a sense of normalcy, whatever that means for you. The second breathing exercise, we'll call it today, for lack of words, Viloma breathing. It's a 3-part breath. So it's really imagining the breath in the lower half, and then the middle half, and then the upper half of the body. And the same goes for the exhales, kind of controlling it to a 3-part exhale. So I like to think of it like floors on a building. So exhale, empty out the lungs. Through the nose, inhale 1/3 of the way up. Inhale again, 2/3 full. Inhale all the way to the top. So now the lungs are full, gathered energy at the top. Now exhale 1/3 of the way out. Exhale 2/3 of the way out. Exhale all the way empty. So chopping up the breath a bit. Inhale 1/3. Inhale 2/3. A little fuller. Inhale all the way to full, so the lungs really at their maximum capacity now. Control your exhale. 1/3 empty. 2/3 empty. 3/3 empty. We can count it. Inhale 1, 2, holding. Inhale 3, 4, holding. Inhale 5, 6. So full at the top. Then exhale 6, 5, and pause. Exhale 4, 3, pause. Exhale, 2, 1, empty. Inhale, 1/3. Hold. Inhale, 2/3. Hold. Inhale all the way to full. Exhale, 1/3 out. Exhale, 2/3 out. Exhale all the way to empty. And then release that exercise, just let the breath resume. So really all we're doing with these breathing exercises is just giving different entry points to our awareness of the breath. We want to be aware of the breath as we practice, and really as we live our lives, because the breath is a really good way to see what's happening. Right? Usually when the breath is held or choppy, it's a sign that maybe something is not going so smoothly. Interior signs to exterior circumstances. Okay, so let's begin to move the body a bit. So just bring your shoulders up to your ears, draw the shoulders back, let them drop down and roll them forward. Just begin to roll your shoulders a little bit. And as you find this movement in your shoulders, notice the quality of your breath as you move. Can you keep it smooth so that eventually the movement can be smooth too? And if you're going backwards, circle forwards too. Noticing if one shoulder feels a little smoother than the other. And then release that. Bring your chin towards your chest. And I'll do the opposite of you. So bring your right ear to your right shoulder. Bring your head back a bit, but don't collapse. Just feel some stretch in your throat. Then bring your left ear to your left shoulder. And then bring the chin forward as you lift the chest up. So right ear to right shoulder, stretching. Bring it back without collapsing the head, so there's still some support in the neck. Bring your left ear to your left shoulder, and then bring your chin into your chest. And if you want to do 4 directions, you can do that, or you can start to find some circling. Try and isolate the movement just to your neck. So notice like if your chest or your ribs or even your pelvis wants to get involved. I like to kind of put my hands on my torso as a bit of a barrier, so that I can really feel the movement into the upper third of my spine. And then circle the other way too. So just like we were breathing into the 3 compartments of the lungs, you can think of your body as having like 3 compartments here. You've got the lower half, the hips that want to move, but you don't move them now. The ribs that want to move, but you don't move them now. And the neck spine, which we do want to move now. Okay, so we're gonna do, it's a vinyasa class, so we're gonna do a lot of work in the hands and the wrists, like in the down dogs and in the plank poses. So let's warm them up a bit. Take your hands out and start to open and close your hands. And while it might seem simple at first, after about 20 times, or maybe even about after 5 times, you'll start to feel how much this requires through just the hands. Keep your arms straight, relax your shoulders, relax your jaw. Are you feeling it? Okay, now open your palms, and then really open your palms. So it's kind of like practicing for like a superhero movie. Open, and then really open. Feeling it down the wrist, into the forearms probably, especially if you're a server at a restaurant. Then interlace your fingers and just roll your wrists. Notice if like the whole arm is rolling, still the movement, and just isolate to the wrists to the best of your ability. Circle the other way a few times too. Good. Then interlacing the fingers, stretch the palms towards the phone, I guess, the screen, and then reach your arms up. So the goal here is to eventually stack your wrists, your elbows, your shoulders in the same line. And let's not have the ribs draw out like that. Hug your ribs in and imagine space in the back floating ribs. So feel the line from your hips to your shoulders to eventually the wrists. Breathing here. Like you're holding a block on the palms, steady. Maybe a little stretch over to your right. And as you stretch over, still try and feel both hips on the floor. Bring it back to the center. And then a little stretch over to your left. And bring it back to the center. Okay, so release your hands. And what you're going to do now is lift up off of your feet and stack your hips over your knees. You're still going to have this interlaced grip. Reach it up. Now I want you to take your right leg out to the right. So it's going to look like this. The pinky toe edge of your right foot down. And some support in the inner lining of your right leg. From here, reach up and then begin to stretch over to that leg that's extended. So try not to let the hips drop. Don't worry about going super low. It's much more about going up and over, while still feeling the support through the outer part of your right foot steady so you don't collapse in. So keep breathing into those left lungs. Then bring it back to the center. Then put your left hand down to the floor or to a block and stretch and reach your right arm across the body. So you've got a nice long diagonal here from the outside edge of the right foot, through the right leg, through your torso, through your right fingertips. And then breathing into this long line. Notice if the tailbone is sticking back, hug the front body in a bit so it's neutral in the pelvis. Okay, then bring it back to the center. Now right toes, turn them to face up, lift the leg up and bring the leg forward. So now you're going to be in a half split, which will look like this. From there, fold your torso over your leg and breathe. And hopefully here you can see what's going on with the back leg. I want you to stack the left hip over the left knee so that you're not sunk back like this. For today's purposes, think of the front of your left thigh bone parallel to a wall or a screen in front of you. The right leg is the variable. You can bend the knee if you're super tight, or if you're a little more flexible, you can straighten the leg. Use your inhales to lengthen through the front of the body, like your spine could extend longer up, and then as you exhale, fold a bit deeper. Now be mindful if you're more flexible of the hips sliding. Think of your right hip extending out like west or east, and then the left hip out in the opposite direction. Take one more inhale here. And as you exhale, fold a bit deeper. Good. Pick your torso up, sneak that leg back, and then we're going to do the same sequence on the other side. So, take your left leg out to the side, seal the edge of the left foot down, interlace your fingers like you're cracking your knuckles, stretch forward, reach up, and then stretch over to that leg that's extended out to the side. Use the support of that bent knee, the shin on the floor. Use the support of the outer part of your left foot and breathe. Use your inhales to go up and use your exhales to stretch it over to the side. Final few moments here. Inhaling, use that breath, and exhaling. Okay, bring it back up. You can put your hand to the floor or up onto a block and stretch your left arm across the body. So again, connecting this diagonal line. Left heel, left knee, left hip, left shoulder, left elbow, left wrist, all ascending like a ladder. Take note if the tailbone's trying to fly back in space. Draw the belly in instead, and think of the tailbone going towards your left heel. One more inhale here. And then bring it back to the center, turn those left toes to face up, lift your left leg up and bring it forward, and now we'll be in the half splits with the left leg forward. Line up your back thigh, right thigh bone parallel to the screen probably that you're looking at. Inhale, lift your chest up, keep the hips steady, and forward fold. As you look at your left toes, try and flex them all towards your face evenly so you get a nice even stretch in the back of that left leg. Maybe putting a hand to the back of the sacrum and just feeling if one hip is pushing forward. Try and keep your hips level, even. Inhale one more time. And exhale, fold. Good. Okay, sneak that leg back. We'll just go straight to the tabletop pose. So for your tabletop, wrists over the shoulders over the wrists, hips over the knees. And take some breaths to find a neutral spine. You'll notice that if you're feeling kind of lazy, the chest is going to want to collapse. Push into your palms and fill the space between your shoulders a bit. And then with your tailbone, if you're feeling a little tired, probably the belly drops, the tailbone sticks up. let's get neutral. So not completely tucking the tailbone, but pushing the shins into the floor, pushing the palms into the floor so you can feel lit up in the front. What could actually help here is if you shift your weight to your left palm, take your right hand, put it to your low belly, then put your right palm down and take your left hand to your low belly. And just do this a few times. So what's happening is we're playing with the stability, right? Most of the time in this cat-cow, there's 4 points of contact onto the floor, but as you remove a hand, or eventually a leg, you will lose some of the stability of the limbs, and hopefully we can learn to direct the attention to the core. So, let's stretch the wrists a bit, shift your shoulders forward over your fingertips, and then shift the shoulders back over the wrists. Do this 2 more times, shifting forward, keep your tailbone tucked, and shift back, keep the belly drawn in. 1 more time to shift it forward, and as you exhale, drop back. Now, take your right leg back in space, and you can point the toes, you can flex the toes, but just keep this energy going through the leg. It's not shut off. So again, there's one of the 4 limbs that are not on the floor anymore, so you're asking the core to hold you strong. Notice if the ribs collapse, push into the floor, hug the belly up and in. And think of your tailbone drawing towards that back extended heel. Take an inhale here, and then as you exhale, knee to the nose, pushing into the floor. Inhale, take the leg back, look forward. Exhale, knee to the nose, curling the spine. 1 more time to take the leg back, steady palms. Exhale, knee to the nose. Good, take your leg back, I think good. Step your right foot to the outside of your right wrist. Scoot the back knee back a little bit. Walk the left hand under the center of the body. And then you're going to reach the right arm up to take a twist. So push into the floor, fill the space between your shoulders, and gaze beyond those lifted fingers. With this extended arm, put the hand to your low back and try and keep your hips steady and feel the twist from the middle and the upper spine, not just from the hips flying open. Steady, strong. Now if you want, you can bend your back knee, catch hold of the foot, and get a little quad stretch. If you can handle it, you push the hips a bit forward. Might be intense, you don't have to do it. Really connecting that left palm onto the floor, keeping the shoulder on the back. So if you have the quad stretch, release it, reach your arm up, and then place the hand down the frame of the foot. Sneak the right leg back, go to this tabletop position, and just move the hips around a few times, kind of circling the pelvis clockwise, and then counterclockwise. Now we'll go the left leg. So take your left leg back, and either point or flex the toes. As you exhale, knee to the nose, draw the belly up and in. As you inhale, take the leg back, but don't let the ribs dip. Exhale, knee to the nose, curling the front body in. 1 more time, take the leg back, extend. And as you exhale, knee to the nose, curling. Take the leg back, then step the foot to the outside of the wrist. Walk your back knee back a little bit. Right hand goes to the center, so that now you can draw this line from right wrist to right elbow to right shoulder to left elbow to left wrist. Steady line. For those a little more flexible, you can play with opening it more than the perfect line. But if you're tighter, rather than just trying to get your wrist into it, stack your shoulders first. Maybe hand to the low back, maybe hand to the heart, maybe hand to the head. Lots of options. Stay driving through that left heel so the back of the left leg is starting to work and warm up. Quad stretch if you like. Catch the foot, sink the hips. Remembering the breath. If you took the quad stretch, unwind back to the twist. And place the hand down, sneak that leg back, go back to your tabletop pose, and just spin the hips around clockwise and counterclockwise a few times. Okay, so from here, take your right leg back, extend the leg. Now I want you to shift forward and begin to bend at your elbows and lower down. So for this one, you could probably, if you're not doing it, look at me for a second and stack your elbows over your wrists so that you don't go lower than here, right? We don't want the shoulders dropped like this, and look at my forearms. We don't want the forearms back like this. To the best of your ability, try and stack your elbows over your wrists and find this 90-degree angle here. Even if you only come down to here, that's fine. But learn how to not let the forearms drop back like this. What could help with that, maybe you still have your back leg lifted, is putting a block under your arm. And this is pretty intense, but it can really show you if you're bringing your elbows back or if you are keeping that forearm stacked, pitching your shoulders forward and bending from the elbow. It's intense, but it's informative. So, back to what we were doing. Inhale, take your right leg back. Look forward, shift forward, bend at your elbows, lower down no more than halfway. Push the floor away strong in the arms, knee to the nose as you exhale. 2 more. Inhale, leg back, shift forward, look forward. Bend your elbows, keep your tailbone tucked. Push the floor away, strong arms, knee to the nose. 1 more time, take the leg back, look forward, shift forward, slowly lower, don't let the tailbone fly back, and then extend your arms, draw the knee to the nose. Leg back, shin down, move the hips around. Clockwise and counterclockwise before we do it on the left side. So inhale, take the left leg back. Shift forward, look forward, bend at the elbows, lower down. Push the floor away, strong arms, knee to the nose. 2 more. Inhale, take the leg back. Shift forward, look forward, lower. Push the floor away, strong shoulders, knee to the nose. Last one. Inhale, shift forward, lower, maybe just a little bend. Push the floor away, knee to the nose. Take the leg back, tabletop pose. Okay, probably feeling it in the shoulders. Keep your toes tucked, bring your hips back to your heels, and roll the shoulders again a few times. Forward and backwards. Getting the energy moving through the shoulders. A little shimmy. Okay. Downward facing dog. Palms down, tuck the toes, lift the belly up and in to send the hips back. And first one can be pretty informal, just moving it around, right, left, bending the knees, shaking the head. Try and keep the palms steady, right? Not just the heels of your hands, the entire palm. And I think the best way to line up our downward facing dogs is to use our own body as a reference. So go to your plank pose. And from the plank pose, again, the alignment like tabletop, shoulders directly over the wrists, palms steady. You can shift the heels forward and back a few times so that eventually you can feel the heels floating over the ball mounds of the feet. So with this alignment, push into the palms, fill the space between the shoulders, don't let the shoulders collapse. Push the floor away. Draw the belly up and in. And now bend your knees a little bit and send your hips up and back, push through the palms. Without moving your hands or your feet, find this downward facing dog. So most of us are going to be bending the knees quite a bit. Now as you bend your knees, still try and bring your heels towards the floor and send the outer hips up and back. So that now you can move between these two positions, between the down dog and the upward facing dog. No, between the down dog and the plank pose, without needing to awkwardly move your hands. So shift forward to the plank, exhale back to down dog. Inhale, shift forward to the plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. 1 more time, shift it forward. And then shift it back, draw the belly up and in, push into the palms. Now from here, shift to the upper push-up plank pose. Now keep your toes tucked, begin to drop your hips, draw your shoulders back, but lift your sternum up. Go back to the plank, push into your palms, draw the belly up and in, and then lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. 2 more times like that, shifted forward to the plank pose. Begin to lower your hips, draw your heart forward, try and lift your sternum up without throwing your head back. Plank pose, belly up and in, downward facing dog up and back. 1 more time, shifted forward to the plank. Drop the hips, draw the shoulders back, lift the sternum up. Lift the belly up and in, back to the plank, strong core, strong palms, downward facing dog. And then walk the feet up to the hands, so you're in a forward fold at the top of your mat. Take the feet about hip width distance apart, feet facing forward, heels and ball mounts of feet lined up, and take your forward fold. I like to bend the knees quite a bit in the forward fold, because I think of the hip being the very important part to fold from. The leg stretch will come in time. Get richly into that fold at the hip first. Maybe you grab for the elbows, maybe hands to the legs, maybe hands to the floor. Let the head be heavy and breathe. I like to imagine like as the chest rests onto the thighs a bit, like I've inherited another set of lungs that are my hamstrings. And I'm sending the breath from my lungs through my legs into my hamstrings. And then as I exhale and the lungs contract, I try and stretch them out a bit. So inhale, filling up your new set of lungs. Exhale, feeling them deflate. One more time, inhale, nice and long, full. Exhale. Okay, slowly roll up through your back. Keep your chin tucked in, feet steady, until you're upright. And when you're upright, take a few breaths. Shoulders, hips, heels. Inhale, float the arms up over the head. And bring the hands to the heart as you exhale. Place one hand on your low belly, below your belly button. Place the back of the other hand at the sacrum. And just feel for this pelvic space. If you're flexible in the low back, the tendency is to kind of stick the tailbone back. And if you're super tight, you might find a bit of tucking. We want to find a neutral spine. So tailbone directed towards the floor and a sense of lift in the front hips up to the collarbones. So hands to the heart. As you inhale, reach your arms up over the head, maybe a little back bend. And then as you exhale, forward fold from the hip. On the inhale, find a halfway lift, lengthen out your spine. And as you exhale, place the hands down and step your feet back to the plank position. From your plank pose, put the knees down to the floor. Like we did in the tabletop, shift your shoulders forward over your fingertips. Bend at your elbows the correct way, no lower than halfway. And then push the floor away. You can untuck your toes, feel the tops of the feet push down, lift your sternum up, shoulders back. And then lift it up and back to the downward facing dog. So let's find that again with the knees. Inhale, shift forward to your plank pose. Put your knees down, lower down as you shift forward. Then push into your palms to lift the chest up. And then as you exhale, back to down dog. And now you can try it once without the knees. Shift it forward to your plank pose if you dare. Lower down to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. So let's tie that whole sun salute together. Look in between your hands. You can step, hop, float to the top of the mat. On the inhale, halfway lift. On the exhale, fold from your hip. Inhale, sweep the arms up, gaze up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, hands down, feet back, and you move through your vinyasa, or you skip it to downward facing dog. You've got options. Now in your down dog, take a few breaths. Press into your palms and try and float your pinky finger, your fourth finger, your middle finger, your thumb off the floor. From the down dog, step, hop, float, top of the mat. On the inhale, halfway up, lengthen. As you exhale, fold. As you inhale, reach. And as you exhale, center at the heart. One more. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, hands down, feet back. Move through your vinyasa or skip it to downward facing dog. Options. Challenging here, but as you work in your down dog with your knees bent, still try and bring your heels towards the floor. So sending those signals in opposite directions. As the knees bend, the heels want to lift, but you try and bring them down. That creates the spaciousness, things moving in two directions at the same time. And the more spaciousness you have in your practice, the more manageable it will be. So look in between your hands, step, hop, float, top of the mat. On the inhale, halfway up. And as you exhale, fold. Sweep, reach the arms up. And then bring the hands to the heart. Good, so we'll move into the Surya B with the chair pose in a minute, but go down to tabletop for a second. I just want you to feel this. So from your tabletop, take your right leg back, but now bend at your knee and stack your heel right over your knee, like you're balancing a block on the bottom of your right foot. You want to keep that block steady. Now, without letting the ribs dump, push into your palms, strong in the shoulders. Begin to pulse that right leg. They don't need to be big. Small pulses will do the trick. But as you pulse this right thigh bone up and down, up and down, up and down, we're beginning to turn on the right glute and the back of the right leg. Because as much as we stretch out that area, we also want to strengthen it. Okay, put that shin down, drop the belly, lift the chin, arch the back, and as you exhale, curl the spine. Let's go the other side. So take your left leg back in space, bend at your knees, stack the heel over the knee, bottom of the foot facing up like you could balance a block on it. So don't let the knee spin out or in, and then find those pulses. Maybe right hand goes to the low belly. Maybe left hand too. Just kidding. Keep pulsing. Right, you want to feel like warmed up, like a highlighter sensation in the back of the left glute, the left hamstring. Pulse, 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 pulse. Outer right hip drawing back as you do it. 3, 2, 1, and then back down. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the chin. And as you exhale, curl. Swivel the hips around a few times too, especially if you're tighter in this area, likely for the hips to cramp. That's definitely what just happened to me. So move it around. I think cramps can be a sign that we're targeting areas that we need to target, but you shouldn't have to live in the cramp. So if you find at any point you're getting like the cramps, you want to get out, move it around, and then maybe with your breath try and get back into it. Okay, downward facing dog. Look in between, and the down dog should feel pretty good now as you stretch the legs a bit. We just worked the back chain of the legs, and now they get a stretch. So when you're ready, look in between your hands, step, hop, float, top of the mat. On the inhale, halfway lift, and as you exhale, fold. Now, drop your hips and sweep your arms up. Let's find chair pose. For today's purposes, we'll do it with the feet together. Rock the weight back into your heels. So like if you glanced over your knees, you could almost see your toes. Right, we don't want the weight too much forward in the knees. We want the weight back into the glutes and the hamstrings. Steady legs, arms lifted, sternum light. Breathing. A little test here would be to shift the weight to your right foot and lift your left foot just a little bit off the floor. And then shift the weight back to that foot and lift the opposite foot just a little bit. So learning how to stabilize through a bent leg, very valuable. Maybe not easy. So still in chair pose for 3, 2, forward fold as you exhale, stretch the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. And as you exhale, hands down, feet back. Option to move through your vinyasa or just downward facing dog. Good. From the down dog, take your right leg up. And if it feels good, move the leg around. Keep your shoulders square as you just move into the legs, the lower half of the body. Inhale, stretch the leg back, square hips. Exhale, knee to the nose, shoulders over the wrists. Inhale, take the leg back. Exhale, right knee to the right elbow, and pausing there. One more time, take the leg up and back, and then cross over to the left elbow. Inhale, leg goes back. Step the foot forward, seal the edge of the back foot down so that you're set up for warrior 1. Float the arms up. A few breaths here. Just like we did in that first interlaced and reaching, outside edge of the left foot steady. Trying to find some breath here. One more inhale, push palms together, look up. And then as you exhale, hands down to frame the right foot, send the right leg back to the plank pose, move through your vinyasa or skip it to downward facing dog. Once you're in the down dog, take the left leg up. And when you're ready, move that leg around. Steady in your palms, outer arms wrapping in, biceps wrapping forward, move through the leg, not the chest. Take the leg back, square the hips. As you exhale, knee to the nose, shoulders over the wrists. Inhale, take the leg back. As you exhale, left knee, left elbow, pause. Inhale, take the leg back. Exhale, left knee, right elbow, push into the palms, pause. Last one, take the leg up and back, good work, I think. Step the foot forward, seal the edge of the back foot down, and when you're ready, arms up, warrior 1. Outer edge of the right foot steady, left knee bent, just beginning to warm up the legs for these lunges. Attempt to square your hips, Don't force it. Breathe. Feel the support through your feet, up through your legs. One more inhale, palms together, maybe look up. And as you exhale, hands down, frame the foot, left leg back to your plank, vinyasa, or, no thank you, downward facing dog. We'll meet there. Okay, to finish it off, bend your knees, step, hop, float, top of the mat. On the inhale, halfway up. On the exhale, fold. Now drop your hips, sweep the arms up, chair pose. And then straighten the legs, hands to the heart center. So let's flow through that. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands down, feet back. Lower down halfway. Inhale, upward facing or the cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take your right leg up as you inhale. Think knee to nose, step the foot in between the hands. Warrior one. Inhale, reach the arms up. And then go to a power lunge as you exhale. Chest forward, arms back. Two more. Inhale, reach up, keep your hips steady. Exhale, heart forward, arms back. Feel that line. One more inhale. And exhale to tilt, but don't collapse. Place the hands down, frame the foot, pop the back heel up. Inhale, right leg up. Exhale, vinyasa with or without both legs. Skipping it if you want. Downward facing dog when you're ready. Inhale, left leg up. Think knee to nose, step the foot through. Outer right foot seals. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, power lunge, hips square. Inhale, reach back up. Exhale, feel the navel draw in as you tilt. Last one, in. And out, tilting. Square hips. Hands down, left leg goes up. Inhale. Shift forward on one leg if you like, lower down. Inhale, sternum floats. Exhale, belly up and in to take you back. Good. Focus the eyes on a single point. Focus your attention onto the breathing. Just like the start of practice. Look in between the hands. Step, hop, float, top of the mat. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, fold. Drop the hips, sweep the arms up, chair pose. Straight the legs, hands to the heart center. Good. Okay, reach the arms up. Forward fold. Halfway lift up. Hands down, feet back. Plank pose. From the plank pose, bring your two heels over to the left side of your mat and then drop the left hip towards the floor. Now push into your palms, draw the belly up and in, go back to your plank pose, and then take the heels over to the right, drop your outer right hip to touch the floor, push your palms to lift yourself back up. So heels to the left, drop the hip, draw your belly up and in, back to the center. Heels to the right, drop the hip, palms down, belly up and in, back to the center. 3 more times. Heels to the left, lift it back up. Heels to the right, drop the hip, push to lift it back up. Heels to the left, push your palms, lift it back up. Heels to the right, drop the outer right hip, push to draw your belly up and in. Last one. Heels to the left to drop, push to lift it back up. Heels to the left, drop the right hip, push the palms to lift it back up. Okay, feeling it in the shoulders, draw your outer shoulders back, keep your toes tucked, drop the hips like we did before. Heart forward, modified up dog. Go back to your plank pose. Drop the hips, draw the heart forward like the arms could frame the torso. Lift your belly up and in. Plank pose. Good. 3 more. Drop the hips, draw the heart forward. Exhale, plank pose. Last 2. Drop the hips, draw the heart forward. I know Jimmy's feeling it. Draw the belly back up and in. Plank pose. Last one. Drop the hips, draw the heart forward. Lift up in the sternum. And plank pose. From your plank pose, shift forward, bend at your elbows, chaturanga, straighten out the arms, we got 5, 4, holding plank, 3, 2, knees down, knees wide, hips to the heels, child's pose. I didn't plan that child's pose, but I think we, and by we I mean me, needs it. Right, and try not to shake anything off.
to just like become a little neutral after pushing, and then just feeling where that energy is really living and coursing through the body. It might be the wrists, it might be the shoulders, it might be somewhere else. But rather than trying to shake it off, can you just breathe through it? You might here put your palms together, walk your elbows in a bit, and then like do a little karate chop, thumbs to the back. And that can provide a deeper stretch if your shoulders can handle it. Okay, so let's go back to downward facing dog. Tuck the toes, lift the belly up and in, downward facing dog. As you inhale, take the right leg up, and as you exhale, step the foot through. So now we'll find high lunge. When you're ready, reach your arms up and breathe. If you need to bend your back knee a little bit, you can bend it and let the tailbone drop, because what we don't want is the tailbone flying back and crushing your kidneys. We want space in those floating ribs. From this position, spin it open to warrior two pose. So the outer edge of the back foot seals down, the inner front knee draws forward in space. From this position, keep the legs. Just reach your front arm up and back, take a reverse warrior. So we're opening up those right ribs without collapsing the left side. So find space, inhale, keep the front knee bent, and then as you exhale, side angle pose. Front arm goes to top leg, left arm goes up or forward. If you can go forward, look up towards your bicep. And if you can, with your right arm, throw that one up there too. And if you feel like you can't hold it without your arms, pick up your torso more so that you're not collapsing on your poor lower lung. Okay, take reverse warrior. Inhale, reach up and back. Exhale, side angle or extended side angle pose. One more time, reach up and back, reverse. And then as you exhale, side or extended side. Place the hands down, frame the foot. Pop the back heel up, right leg up and back. Put the foot down, shift through a vinyasa, or just downward facing dog. Left leg, let's go. Take the leg up, think knee to nose, step the foot through, and then spin it open, warrior two pose. And by warrior two pose, I mean high lunge. So swing it back forward, hips square, reach your arms up a few breaths. Back leg can bend a bit if you need to. Sternum floats. Breath eventually even, calm. Like you were sitting in meditation. Warrior two pose, spin it open. A few breaths here. Chest open, hips a bit open. Vision focused. I like to look over my left fingertips. Okay, to go into reverse warrior, don't just go back. First go forward, then go up, and scoop all of that backwards. So you're gathering up space to move into it. And as this left side yawns open, remember you still want some space and integrity on that right side too. Then go to side angle pose. You can do forearm to the leg if you're feeling super wiped, as the right arm reaches up or forward, or you throw that arm up there too. And notice just when I do it, how naturally my torso lifts up a bit. It's probably because I'm sinking too low here. So without your arms, you're really forced to confront your legs. Go to reverse warrior, inhale. Exhale, side or extended side angle. Inhale, reverse, steady in your feet. Exhale, side angle. Last one, inhale. Cartwheel the hands down as you exhale. Front leg goes back to the plank, lower down or skip it, downward facing dog. Okay, so take your right leg up, step the foot through. And after you step the foot through, seal the edge of the back foot down, spin it open like you were doing warrior two, but keep your front leg straight. So move to a triangle pose. So from the right toes facing forward, the left toes turned in a bit. I want you to reach forward as far as you can with your wrist. And when you can't tilt your torso anymore, when you're at your edge, tilt the arms. And maybe your hands onto your shin, or it's onto a block. What we don't want to do is collapse that right side. Those that are really flexible at the hip, they can like put their whole hand onto the floor and still stay long here. So let the priority be on breathing, not on the external shape. If you're very mobile, careful that you're not locking the leg out. Put a little bend in your knee. So at any point, if you needed to bend your knee, you could. It's not like this part of the leg is just sleeping as you kink the knee back. Okay, from here, look up, reach your left arm forward like you did before, look up towards the bicep. And then as you exhale, cactus goalpost the arm, bring your right chin to your right shoulder. As you inhale, stretch and reach up into that bicep. And then as you exhale, put the back of your left hand to your sacrum and drop the weight of the head. Keep the left shoulder on the back. Inhale, stretch and reach forward, look up towards your bicep. Exhale, cactus goalpost the arm, chin to right shoulder. As you inhale, stretch and reach up towards the bicep. Place the back of the hand to the sacrum and drop the weight of the head. One more. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, cactus goalpost, look down towards your right shoulder. Inhale, stretch and reach forward, stretching around your left kidney. Exhale, hand to the back, drop the weight of the head. Good. Step your back foot forward, fold at the top of the mat, and feel a little asymmetrical. Right? Hopefully you're feeling this left side of the body is open more than the right side. And we'll fix that. So hands down, take your feet back, move through your vinyasa or downward facing dog. Once you're in the down dog, I just want you to step your left foot through and spin it open like you're doing warrior two, but we're setting up for triangles, so front leg is straight. Try and reach your left wrist forward as you draw the left hip back, 2 directions, creating spaciousness. When you've reached the end of the range of motion, no rush, just begin to tilt. Don't go too low that you're collapsing, right? Get as much support as you need to, keeping space on this left side body. Maybe even for a second, take that right arm, reach it through, and try and gather your bottom ribs forward a bit, like you're your own teacher giving yourself your own adjustment. Front legs, especially if you're very flexible, don't kink the leg back. Bend the knee, push the floor away straight. Like do a couple of leg push-ups and make sure that the leg is working. So straight, but integrated. Inhale, reach forward, look up towards your right bicep. As you exhale, cactus goalpost the arm, chin to the left shoulder. Inhale, reach forward, stretching around your right kidney. And as you exhale, hand to the back, drop the weight of the head. Inhale, stretch and reach forward, steady in your feet. Exhale, cactus, look down. Inhale, reach forward, look up. Exhale, hand to the back, drop the head heavy. Last one, inhale. Cactus goalpost, exhale, chin to the shoulder. Inhale, stretch and reach forward, feel your right foot on the floor. Exhale, hand to the back, drop the weight of the head. Now step that back foot forward, fold at the top of the mat, and breathe. Bend your knees and breathe. Chest to thighs, head heavy, breathing. Hands down, feet back, vinyasa if you like. Meet in downward facing dog. We're just going to move into the lizard pose now. So right leg goes up. Step your right foot to the outside of your right wrist. Put your left knee down to the floor. And you've got options here. The hands can stay where they are. And you just look forward. The forearms might be able to come down to the floor. But you can see my spine is already rounding. I'm already too far. If you're very flexible, you can put your chest and your throat onto the floor too and take your arms out to the sides. Not today. So the goal here is to open up the front of the left hip crease, to fold into the right hip crease. And then there's kind of, I don't know how the vision is here for this, but 2 ideas here. On the front leg, you can stack your knee over your heel and work your outer hips into the center, or you can begin to open the knee up a bit, and that'll give you some more access forward. I'd say if you're tight, you want to work the knee open a bit, and if you're already open, while you might not want to, I think it's more informative to stack and gather yourself. But it's your call. You could play around with both options. Maybe even 2, a block under that bottom thigh. For some boundaries so that the thigh doesn't drop too low. I love it. I think it feels great. Okay, gotta get fancy with the blocks here. So one more round of breath. Take an inhale. Holding for a moment. Exhale. All right, if you're down, slowly begin to make your way up. Then we're just gonna, if you have blocks, get them out of the way. Toe heel your foot across the mat. So now that we're in half pigeon pose, a nice idea would be to put a blanket or a block under your right hip crease as you take this pose. I don't have it, so I won't use one. And if this isn't feeling right for you today, you can flip onto your back and do a figure four. Right, half pigeon, take some time, stay up a bit longer. And then when you feel situated on both hips, lower your torso down. But if you're here in the figure four, I like to move a bit right and left, just so my back can really feel the floor, all the parts of my back. So I just have a sense of where I am. Now I want to try and keep the hips steady, right? Not let the hip hike up. And then as I bend the left knee in towards the chest, I still imagine the inner right thigh stretching away. So left leg comes in, but right thigh draws back. So it's not just this, it's not just this, square. If you're in this figure four, try and flex the right toes towards the right knee so you don't tweak your knee. Honestly, this might even be enough. Okay, if you're in the half pigeon, slowly bring yourself up, move through a down dog, sneak it a vinyasa if you want, and meet in the half pigeon. No, we gotta do the lizard first anyways. So, wherever anybody is in time and space, come up and just take your left leg forward. So we're gonna do that the lizard pose on the left leg now. So make sure that you're stepping your foot to the outside of the left arm, right? So when I step through normally, I would step through like this to open up into like a warrior. But for the lizard, shrink outside so that you can put your hands down and maybe your forearms down. But as soon as the spine wants to curl, pause. Inhale, lengthen the front of your spine. Exhale, let the hips settle. Especially if this right thigh bone is wanting to drop very easily, I think putting something in the way of it can give it something to rest on that isn't the floor. Think of inhaling, lengthening your spine in the front, and as you exhale, folding deeper from the hip. Maybe play with letting that knee go a little wider. And if you're already pretty wide with it, I want you to draw it back in and gather those outer hips back into the center. Even if you lose some of the range of the motion, it's okay. In a lot of ways, when you can dial back your range of motion and work more through, it's way better. You bring more of yourself into your practice. We want that. Okay, let's move into the half pigeon. Take the foot across the mat. And if that's not going to work for you, figure four. Figure fours, roll a little left, a little right. Feel the floor feedback. Pigeons, when you're ready, you fold forward. And even if you're in the pigeon, you can roll a little bit. I wouldn't roll as much as those in the figure four because you got a lot of weight on you. In figure four, if you want, you can interlace around the back of the right hamstring or top of the right shin. I don't think most of us need to do this too much. If you just work on those hips staying steady, think of right thigh coming forward and left thigh drawing back. I think for most of us, this is more than enough. Where you see my right foot is right now, you could put a wall right there or do this right up against the wall, and that could give you some good feedback, keeping those hips even to the wall. Flexing the left toes to protect your left knee, because what's going on with the ankle and the knee is usually a story of what's going on with the hip. And if the hip can't take it, it might send it to the knee, and we don't want to overwork the knee. Okay, slowly make your way out of your figure four or your pigeon pose. And we're going to eventually wind up in this position. So on your back with the knees bent. If you want to take one more vinyasa, if you were in the pigeon pose, go for it, and then meet us here. So push the feet into the floor, lift your hips up, find the bridge pose, and think in this pose, think of your knees drawing away from you, your kneecaps drawing forward. But then imagine your heels trying to slide up towards your shoulder blades so that the glutes and the hamstrings are working, and then slowly lower down. Push your feet down, lift your hips up, feel the glutes, the hamstrings work. Now this is the important part, slowly lower yourself down. Feel the backs of your legs still working until you hit the floor. Good, one more time, push the feet, lift the hips up, feel the legs in the back turn on, and slowly lower down. Bend your knees into your chest, or first, scoot your hips to the right a bit. Bend your knees into your chest and take the knees over to the left. So you twist and look over your right shoulder. We're wrapping things up here, because as I learned in these live videos, you only get an hour. And I want to end it on time, 2 minutes. So wringing out the spine at the end of the physical practice, massaging the internal organs. Really nice way to signal to the body that we're wrapping things up. On your next exhale, bring the knees back to the center. Use your feet onto the floor to scoot your hips to your left a little bit, so you can take your knees to the right, and then open up into the twist. Put the priority on the exhales in your twist. And exhale. When you're empty, bring the knees back to the center. Push your feet into the floor to get yourself steady, straight. Bend the knees into the chest. And then lie down, Shavasana. Feet long, palms up. Feel the belly rise and fall. We'll end the practice here. Let the heels be heavy. Pelvis heavy. Shoulders relaxed. Soften the jaw. Feel the eyes heavy in their sockets. And tune your attention to your breath. Noticing what moves as you breathe. So please feel free to stay in Shavasana if you have the time. Thank you so much for tuning in and practicing today. I hope that this class and these classes that I'll be teaching for the rest of the week are helpful for you if you get a little stir crazy and just want to move around a bit and center yourself. This can be a great way to do it. As always, look on the link on my bio for the videos on the YouTube page. That'll be up in about an hour. And feel free to donate to the Venmo site or to just post these videos on your feed as a way to share. And I hope everyone is finding some peace in these wild times. End.